Good morning, and welcome to episode 83 of Getting Rich. I'm your host, Rich Checkan, president of Asset Strategies International, and today is Wednesday, July 27th, 2022. Well, today's the big day. All eyes are on the Fed as they have their Federal Open Market Committee meeting for July. They started the two-day meeting yesterday. Today they'll come out with their rate announcement, and most people are looking for a rate increase of between 75 and 100 basis points, so between 0.75% and 1% increase in the interest rate. Most feel they will continue to do something further in future meetings, but they can't go much further. As I mentioned last week, again, every 1% increase in the interest rate means another $27 million per day in servicing of the $30 trillion debt. So there's not much further they can go. Now, the stock market continues to list to port, if you will. Bitcoin is still holding around the 20,000 level. Gold and silver still really not moving much at all. And it's generating a little bit of an ire from Senator Elizabeth Warren this past week. She came out very vocally condemning the Fed for driving this country into a recession. Now, I am not a Fed defender here, but I will tell you that the Congress is to blame here. They have put the Fed in a horrible position. They basically spent more than they've taken in for decades from both sides of the aisle, folks. This is not a political party thing. This is Democrats and Republicans spending way more than they take in for a very long period of time. Put us in this position where the Fed really doesn't have much of a choice. They either got to expand the money supply exponentially or default. And the world's reserve currency cannot suffer a default. So they're really put between a rock and a hard place. Let's take a look at the metals prices leading into the Fed's decision here today. Gold is holding steady at 1724, up about 0.5% from last week at 1,714.10. Silver down ever so slightly, down 0.2% to $18.90 from $18.94 last week. Same story with platinum, down 0.2% to $890 from $892 last week. And palladium surged, tends to be fairly volatile in this situation with Russia, its primary producer involved in a war with Ukraine. It's up 9% this week at 2001.10, up from 1936 last week. As you can imagine, with gold up a little bit more than silver, the gold-silver ratio, the number of ounces of silver it takes to buy an ounce of gold, ticked up to 91.7 from 90.93 last week. And the US dollar index is up slightly to 106.98 from 106.58 last week. Now, where do we go from here? We'll see. Again, my belief is the Fed is going to raise rates today. They're going to do it maybe once, maybe twice the balance of this year. They cannot go much further. That's the way it is. So we are looking at a recession, maybe not officially. It's going to be very close when the second quarter numbers come out if we're officially in a recession, but it sure as heck feels like one. The next step for us is stagflation, and the only thing I can ask you is, do you have enough gold? Because they're bargain basement prices right now. Now's the time to stock up. Now's the time to buy your wealth insurance because you're going to need it before too long. As always, we want you to go ahead and subscribe to us and like us here on the YouTube channel. Follow us on social media. And please subscribe for our newsletter, monthly information line, and our Always Something Interesting twice weekly alerts. And please don't ever forget that getting rich starts with keeping what's yours.